What's going on, everybody? I have my friend Paige here.
Hi, I'm Paige.
And we have an announcement for you. We're running a marathon.
Now is the time. I'm gonna do it now. And I'm hoping to gain a lot of confidence and just see a lot of change in the life that I have right now.
Going at it, making a change is the right time, and like having those individual goals and like building to that better person. And for me, when you asked that, it was such a no-brainer. And the fact that we're making this video, it's great to have this accountability, because I've told maybe like 2 or 3 people we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I've kept it kind of down low.
And now we're announcing it to everybody. Yeah. So now we have to do it, otherwise we're gonna look like losers. We're gonna see how this goes. It's gonna be an adventure, but we're 100% down. We're committed to this thing. 3, 2, 1. Let's do this!
Yeah.
We are whipped. I'm so cramped. I'm breathing heavy like crazy. We did it. We did the first step.
The hardest part is starting. Yeah. We did it.
It's 8:40. It's the morning of our 5K. This is the step 1 in our journey. We're gonna kill it.
Kill it.
I know. Yeah. We did it.
We got these bad boys.
Can you believe that? I've never been able to do that before. What's up, guys? I'm kind of at an impasse here. I'm gonna catch everyone up to speed. Up to this point, back mid-October, me and Paige started training to run the marathon a year from then, October 2020. And it was going, I mean, at the beginning it was hard, right? Of course it's gonna be hard. There was a lot of walking and then running during workouts. 5 or 6 weeks, I lost 15 pounds and I'm down 20 since the beginning, which is pretty good. That's a lot of weight loss. So all throughout, I kind of learned that running on the treadmill was not for me. I ended up hurting one of my shin muscles. It wasn't really shin splints. It was more connected to my ankle and on the side of my leg. That was the first injury. So once I dealt with that, I think I ran on the treadmill once more, and then I was like, okay. I need to restart, right? With my mindset and everything. So then I took a week off. Knowing that there was gonna be consequences, this was mid-February. I was like, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. On that following Monday, I think I ran a 5K, which I was regularly running 5Ks at least once or twice a week. Tuesday, when I came back, for some reason when I went to do squats, I put a little bit extra weight on and did way more reps than I should have. I think I did like, hell, 8 or 9 reps in a set. And I did that for 3 or 4. So that was a lot of weight, but it was a good workout. And then on Wednesday, I went to run again. And I don't remember how long I ran. I think I ran another 5K, maybe for 40 minutes. But in the middle of my run, my knee really started to hurt. By the time I got back, I mean, I was just in great pain in my left knee. And I tried to stretch it out and everything, and it was just horrible. I don't think I've ever had this bad of an injury before. That night, I could barely walk. I mean, going down the stairs, I had to keep my legs straight in order to do that. It was really bad. Came to this week, March 2nd was the first day of the week. Yeah, Monday was March 2nd. Decided I wanted to go run. I wanted to go and see how I recovered. It had only been 2 weeks since I messed it up the first time. So I decided to go for a run on Monday, and I wanted to do a 5K, because hell, the freaking 10K is on Sunday of this week, so I gotta get myself back into the groove a little bit. So come today, I went for a run, and a mile in, it was pretty good, right? But it started to feel uncomfortable again, and I'm kind of at an impasse now. The smart thing is to not run this 10K and just recover for 2 to 3 weeks, get my knee completely back in order, responsibly start training again. But we're so hell-bent on this, and just all these dumb superficial factors makes me want to be super irresponsible and run it anyways, no matter what it does. Find a way to make it work. So I'm charging head first into probably a massive mistake. I want the ability to look back at this moment and learn from where my mindset was and how my body is and how my body will react to actually running and everything. If you're watching this back, Kyle, future, and good luck with the 10K. I hope the medal is worth it.
All right, today is the day of the 10K. I just woke up in town. Still quite nervous for today. Very optimistic. I keep telling myself that this is gonna go really well, and I'm gonna run and get all that crap done, and Paige is gonna push me and help me a ton. My dad and brother are gonna come up and support us, so we're gonna see how it goes. At the very worst, I'm just gonna walk the rest of the way if I really, really have to. I'm not gonna permanently injure myself. The little voice in my head that's giving me anxiety is telling me you're gonna destroy your legs and you'll never be able to walk again. But obviously there's nothing that's gonna stop me from stop running. So the biggest thing would definitely be being disappointed, but we're gonna try and have a good day anyways.
Look who came to visit.
Green light, red light.
Good morning.
Joey, what's that?
Yeah.
How far do I have to run?
You couldn't last 2 miles.
Oh yeah?
That's right, I'm talking shit.
Come to support us. Hi.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
Okay. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
There you go.
Thank you. Hey, so we finished. Paige did a good job. She did a really good job. Halfway through, I had to stop because of my knee really hurting. Paige took off. I had to force you to go.
Yeah, I really didn't want to leave. We were doing this together, dang it.
Well, fortunately, on the way back, I saw someone coming towards me, and it was Paige. So thank you so much, Paige, for supporting me.
Yeah, we did still finish it at least together, at least a little.
We finished it in some capacity, even if it was ceremonious. Anyways, that's enough. So we'll see y'all later. Okay, so I just got done with the sports medicine doctor. They didn't mess around. They immediately x-rayed me. And I hope I did a good job of explaining what was going on and how much pain I was in and everything. But he didn't seem too concerned. He did a few flexibility tests, strength tests on my leg. And he didn't seem too concerned. Right now, relief is the main theme. I was pretty nervous there because there's a lot of things that could have gone horribly wrong with it. But he said that these things happen, they just get sore. I still wish everything would have worked out and I didn't run, but I did run and it's not the end of the world, thankfully. So onwards and upwards, as I always say, and things will get better. It is Sunday, October 18th, and Paige and I are not in Detroit for the Free Press Marathon. So let's talk about it. Last year in October at homecoming, Paige asked me to run a marathon with her. And I'm not a big runner, so it was going to be a big feat. And originally, she wanted to run the marathon in 2 years. And I said, let's do it in 1. So starting on October 18th of 2019, we started our training. And since then, a lot has happened. A whole year has passed. We started our training. We trained for at least 5 months. We ran 2 races, a 5K and a 10K. But ultimately, we did not reach our goal. We did not run the Free Press Marathon in October of 2020. Now, I don't want to get into all the reasons as to why that is right now. I want to read a statement that Paige has sent me since she can't be with me to record this video today. And I feel like it reflects a lot of how I feel about our failure and the ultimate future of our goal to run a marathon. So here's what Paige had to say. 1 year ago today, I decided I was going to run a marathon and I asked Kyle to join me. At that time, I was filled with excitement and energy. And I had put my mind to the fact that failure was not an option. Now, after the crazy year that 2020 has been, the thought of running a marathon feels very different to me. That excitement and energy has been clouded by the feeling of failure. We are not running in the marathon today, nor did we make it close to that, and I would be lying if I said that hasn't affected me and my motivation going forward. I have to keep reminding myself that this failure is justified, and there is no way we could have known that we would end up in a global pandemic or exactly how hard it would be to keep the motivation and strength needed to keep going during one. With that said, I do truly believe we made the right decision to defer our marathon to 2021. I'm a firm believer in not giving up and that failure is a necessary part of success. This past year, I have continued to learn a lot about myself and I feel like I am even better suited to succeed this next time around. So here's to round 2. We got this. So Paige, excellent training partner. I could have not asked for anyone better to train with me. In fact, during the 10K, I could only run half of it. I had a knee injury and I tried it anyways. I ran half of the race and then I had to walk the rest. And as I'm getting to the race finish, I see Paige running back to me to finish the race together because I had to basically beg her to go on without me at the turnaround point. So a ton has happened. I mean, you saw earlier, your training, the 5K was really hard and we just kept going and going. And then I had a knee injury. And then 2 weeks later, COVID happened. And when big life events like that occur in one's life, priorities tend to change. And that's one of the things that pushed us along so well and so consistently in the first almost half a year. I mean, it was like 5 months of training, is that it was a priority. And getting out every day was not that hard because it was a routine and we had that consistency and it was a huge priority. But when COVID happened, we started worrying about our health. We started worrying about our families. And I'm mostly speaking from me, but I imagine Paige echoes a lot of this. And then worrying about money as well. COVID basically blew up my entire year and my priorities changed from working on fitness to simply surviving in the world that was thrust upon us, essentially. On top of that, I've never had a major injury before. The knee injury was a huge deal. I had to take a whole month off from running. I went and saw the sports doctor even, and he basically told me to take a month off and rest up. And after that month, I mean, it was for the first week of April, and we were supposed to run the half marathon at the end of May. I had
a little less than 2 months to go from basically starting over, because I had to take a whole month off and I was max running 4.4 miles. My longest run, I had to run almost triple that in a race in less than 2 months. And at that point, shit started to hit the fan, and well, my year hasn't been super great. Let's just say that. But I don't want this video to be all about the reasons. They're not necessarily excuses, they're reasons why we've failed. I want to talk about the things that I have learned along the way, because don't get me wrong, not running a marathon is one big failure, but in that process, we have a ton of successes and victories. I mean, we ran 2 races. We essentially made it halfway, 2 out of 4 races. That's awesome, especially for me, who has never ran like at all. I mean, you saw my first run, 1.5 miles, and I was huffing and puffing like crazy. I thought I was gonna die. And then the 5K, after the first time I ever ran, I've never run that much distance in one go. So lots of different successes, and that's what is the mark of a successful person, is that they don't fail less than losers or failures. They fail way more, and that's because they keep getting up and trying again, and eventually they make it to success and victory, and you just keep getting up. And that's what today is all about, is reconciling with all of our failure, me and Paige's, and closing the book on this chapter in our journey and opening a new one to leading to success and victory. So yes, we failed, but here's looking forward. And in that failure, I want to share what I have learned in this training process for all of you that are looking to run more, run a marathon, or run a half marathon, or even a 5K. Because for me, when we started a whole year ago, running a 5K seemed impossible. The day before the 5K, I didn't even think I could do it. I had serious doubts that I could make it that distance. And we freaking knocked it out of the park. If I remember correctly, I think I ran it in like 28 minutes or 29 minutes, which is incredible, just crazy. Enough blabbering about this past year. I could talk about this craziness that 2020 has been. Let's get on to what I've learned in my training. Lesson number 1 that I learned in my training is to give your body 4 weeks to adjust to lifestyle changes. The first 3 to 4 weeks of my training were absolute hell. Every time I went out, it was like a freaking battle. I was in the trenches trying to run, and eventually, after about a month, my body realized, oh, this is what he wants to do. Let's start building these muscles, or let's adjust our cardio health so that he can run further. He can actually do this without killing himself. It takes a second for your body to catch up to lifestyle changes. And so whether that be working out more or your diet, don't expect results in a week. Don't expect results in 2 weeks. Give your body time to adjust to those changes. You just gotta stay consistent within that period. When you are a beginner runner, do not be afraid to walk. Don't be embarrassed. It can be integral to starting off your training. When I started running, there's no way I could run for 1.5 miles without dying. So a big part of it was interval runs. So you walk and then you run for 3 minutes, and then you walk and then you run for 3 minutes. However that may be. I had a training plan which helped out a ton with all that stuff, but don't be ashamed to walk when you get really tired, when you're just starting out. It took me maybe until week 4 or 5 for me to stop walking during my runs. That's how long it took, but it helped a ton to get started in building those muscles for running. Lesson number 3 is don't be ashamed or embarrassed of when you start. You're gonna look and see other runners. They're gonna be so fit and they're gonna be moving so fast, and you're just gonna look at your own progress and where you are, and it's really normal to feel down on yourself, but don't let that hold you down. Keep going. Everybody who starts anything new is gonna be terrible at first. I was terrible. I am not shy in talking about how hard it was for me to start running. And just building up that consistency, you'll make it there. The fourth thing I've learned is don't go ahead and buy $100 shoes right away. Give it about 1 to 2 months to see if it's worth the investment for you. Yes, you set a goal to run, but maybe after 2 months, you kind of don't like it. It's not for you. Maybe you want to cycle instead, or maybe you want to swim. And waiting to buy expensive shoes is the best way to protect yourself from spending money on something that you're not going to be into. Expensive shoes, good running shoes are very important if you're going to be a serious runner. Take it from a guy who injured his knee. Not having the right shoes, okay? They're very important if you're going to take it seriously. However, I don't recommend spending that money immediately because I think I spent close to $140 on my pair of shoes. They work great. But if I had done that in the second week and then found out week 3 that I really didn't like running, like it was not for me, then I would have wasted $140. So wait on the expensive gear until you know for sure that running is for you. Number 5 is stretching. So stretching after your run is the very first step to recovery. Recovery is the period after your run, in between runs, when your body takes the time to build muscle and recover from your workout. And stretching is the very first thing, the very first step. If you skip it, your recovery is going to be crap. And you're not gonna be able to run as well the next time you come around. Trust me, I've had so many runs when my muscles just ache like hell, I'm tired, and I finish the run and I just wanna go lay down and just let it all out. But after stretching and taking that time and doing nice breathing exercises, I feel like $1,000,000. There's been so many times when I got done with a run or a workout, and after stretching, I feel so much better. I feel like I could take on the world. So do not forget about stretching. And also, don't forget to warm up. Diet is more important than exercise for weight loss. But if you want to be a better runner, having a perfect diet is not necessary. However, eating right helps a ton. It makes you a much better runner. There's been so many times in my training period where I eat like crap. Maybe I have pizza or fast food the whole day previous, and then I go out for a run and the run is just terrible. I feel like I'm dragging my feet and I get cramps and all that, and it feels like I'm working through all of that fast food. And still running after eating poorly is a great motivator to eat better because it's gonna make your runs easier and your life ultimately easier. But eating right is not essential for running at all. But in order to be a good or great runner, you probably should pay attention to what you eat. This is especially for beginners. Look up a training plan. So whether that be Couch to 5K or MapMyFitness or Strava, or even looking up an online personality with the training plan, having that training plan helps so much because, like me, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how long I should run, how often I should run, what kind of runs I should go on, and it just helps to have a plan. My personal choice was MapMyFitness. I did have to pay a monthly fee. I think it was about $6, but it created a training plan for when I wanted the training plan to end, how often, how fast I was running, and it created it and customized it for me. And then when I went to go on the run, it would coach me through it. It would tell me every mile how long I have to run in the certain interval, and all of that information in real time. Helped me a ton. That is not necessary. You can absolutely run for free with a training plan, no big deal. But if you're just starting out, I'd highly recommend creating a plan for yourself, especially if you have a goal like running a marathon or running a 5K if you're a true beginner. Speaking of training plans, I recommend running 2 to 3 times a week for a beginner. It's very hard to build a habit. And when you're starting out, you don't want to go right iron to the grindstone and just go right at it it's hard to build a habit that way. You're gonna burn yourself out. You have to ease yourself into it. So if that means starting off by running twice a week, start off by running 2 times a week. And then once you get that consistently down, add another run in the week, and then maybe add up to 4. When I was training, it was 4 times a week, but I didn't just start off with that. I ran 3 times a week, and then I got to 4 when I built up that habit. And even then, that 4 times a week was still kind of hard to maintain. So again, if you're a beginner, 2 to 3 times a week to start off, and then build that habit and add more runs throughout the week. Speaking of building habits, tell yourself that this is a lifestyle change. Tell people that you are a runner, even if you have only ran twice in your entire life. If you tell people that you are a runner, then subconsciously a part of you is attaching that to your identity, and it makes it easier to go out, because when you lace up your shoes and you put on your watch or put on the music, you feel that. That's right. But if you don't identify, if you identify as a couch potato or a lousy piece of shit, then it's gonna be harder to get out, because your brain is telling you, well, running, that's not for you, that's not you. But if you make it a part of your identity and you change your lifestyle, not just a habit or, a run every once in a while. If you change your lifestyle around running, it's gonna make it much easier to maintain that habit and integrate it to a part of your daily routine and life. If you miss a run during the week, or if you take a week off, give your body time to get back into the groove. One of the big reasons why I injured myself is that I had taken a few days off of my routine, and then I went right back at it. I ran a 5K, I lifted, and then I ran another 5K, and then I blew out my knee. So if you take time off, it happens, okay? Life comes in, you need a second or a few days to get yourself back on the horse. But once you get back out running, give your body time to catch up. You don't wanna slam it right back into gear. If you drive manual, that analogy is quite on point. You know how it is. You know what it's like to slam it into the wrong gear. So just give your body some time, okay? Be kind to your body. Let's stay injury free. Speaking about being kind to your body, please, if there's anything you take away from this video, is be kind to your body. Listen to what your body is telling you. When you start off, you probably won't be as tuned in to what your body feels and is telling you. But as you build this habit, as you get deeper into it, you start picking up cues and you start tuning in better. And so many people out there will tell you that you just need to get all the motivation, and if you don't make every single run in the week, then you are weak-minded and you have a weak will, and there's no way you'll ever accomplish anything ever in your life. I hate that advice. Habits should be easy. It should take no effort to maintain a habit. And when it comes to running or doing anything active, your body and your health is more important than any arbitrary goal that you or anyone else sets for you. Again, take it from a guy who injured himself not listening to his body and basically fucking my entire training plan up because I hadn't gotten used to getting injured before. Be kind to your body, listen to your body, and stay healthy. I touched on it in the last lesson, but your health comes first. Your body and your health is more important than making other people proud or reaching an arbitrary goal that you or someone else has set for you. When I got injured, I took a week off and then I tried to run and catch up to make it to the 10K, and the injury was not going away. And I decided to run the race anyways. I didn't know what would happen. My knee hurt and I couldn't run much past 5K, and I knew that. Did the race anyways, and I made things worse for me. And I'd take a whole month off. And it basically fucked my entire goal of running a marathon. Yes, shouldn't have let that derail me, If you're injured, take a break. Let your body heal. Great running shoes help a ton. They make you a better runner. But until you've made sure that it's right for you, don't get them. But if you're still not sure, a good time is when you're running about 10 miles a week, because that's about the threshold when your shoes will have a big impact on your health, your recovery, and your form and technique for that matter. So great shoes are important, but not necessary at first. Focus on your form. In the first 2 weeks of my training, I focused a ton on my form and technique, doing research, seeing how other people ran and what would work for me. And what that did for me is that it made it so much easier to run better down the line than if I had started running for like 2 months and then at that point decided, oh, I want to change my technique. I want to change my form. And at that point, you built the habit, your muscle memory. So when you're starting off, make sure you do the fundamentals correctly. And it might sound weird. Yes, you can run incorrectly, okay? So look up, do some research. I am not an expert on this topic. In fact, my form probably still needs some help. But do your research, look it up, and see what works for you. Even take your phone or have someone record your form and look how you're running at the bare minimum and see if something looks off to you. Lesson number 15 is do your research. Past form, there's so many different aspects of running that there is to learn about. Look up videos about running. Listen to the experts. I mean, hell, maybe look at Usain Bolt or someone, Elliot Kipchoge. See how those people run, listen to what they talk about in their training, and you're gonna learn a lot from them. I am still not an expert. I'm still learning. So once you finish with this video, go do some research and find more about running. Get a training partner. There's nothing better than having some accountability. So that's why I made the video last year and uploaded it on YouTube, which has actually done way better than I was hoping, which means a lot of people are here to see how I did a year later. But accountability helps a ton when it comes to consistency and building habits, and having a training partner is one of the best ways to do it. Telling your friends and your family about it is one thing, but having a training partner, someone that you can cheer on when things aren't going well for them, and they can cheer you on when things aren't going well for you. It's a great accountability, and especially when you're gonna run together and do the races together, you both gotta be on your A game, otherwise you're gonna hold the other back. I already talked about Paige and how great of a training partner she has been, so let her be a prime example of why it's great to have a training partner. Celebrate every milestone that you accomplish. This is a long process. If you're training to run a marathon or even just a 10K, it's gonna be at least a few months of your life, and celebrate every single victory. At the end there, when I was on the last legs of my training, I was still at the end of every run, Rocky Balboa with both fists in the air at the end of every run, because it was a way of celebrating me. Even if the run wasn't that good, I would think about the times during that run where I wanted to slow down or I wanted to stop and take a breath, and I pushed forward anyways. And that's what the double fist in the air is for. I don't care how dumb I looked on the trail, I did it anyways, because damn it, I'm gonna celebrate my own victories. Tell friends and family about your passion, whether it's for running or just exercise or sports in general. Telling people is a great way to build that identity. I talked about telling yourself that you're a runner, telling people that you are a runner, but talking about why you want to do these things, why you have a passion for this process helps a ton. Not only does it reinforce it in your own brain, but it gives you accountability as well in them, because they'll ask you. One of the biggest supporters of my training were my parents. They would constantly ask me about how my runs are going, and being able to talk about it out loud helped me work through it in my mind as well, and solidify in my identity that I was a runner. and am a runner, mind you. Find a running trail. Your neighborhood is probably a great place to start running if it's big enough. You don't want to go in the same loop 8 times. I'm sure that would get a little bit boring, but if you can find a running trail, that's what I prefer. Even in the wintertime, I got long pants and gloves and a hat. I love running on the trails, seeing a different scenery, like trees and fields and cars passing by maybe. That helps a ton distract me from the fact that I'm running and it sucks. Because I don't think it's ever not really sucked. Like, it's always been okay. At the most, it's always been okay. So having the different scenery to distract me helps a lot. And that's why I love running on trails. In that same vein, I learned that I really don't like treadmills. There were a time early in my training when, before COVID, when I would be at the gym and I'd be running on the treadmill, because whether it was like a foot of snow outside or it was too cold or I was already there working out, I just really don't like running on the treadmill. It goes along, it's on the opposite side of why I like running on trails. It's the same scenery. You feel like you're running in place, not really achieving anything. And without proper form and shoes, sometimes treadmills can actually hurt you. I know that they're like built to be more soft and spongy or whatever, but I mean, I was starting to hurt a little bit after running on treadmills early on before I fixed my form and got better shoes or whatever. But I don't like treadmills. If that's for you, that's okay. This one is also very important. Drink a ton of water. Okay, whether it's getting a gallon jug of milk, emptying out, well, drinking the milk, let's not waste milk, and putting water in there and drinking that throughout the course of the day, you should be striving to drink at least a gallon of water per day. Unless you're like 4'5" and 70 pounds, maybe you shouldn't drink that much, but drink a ton of water. It will help with recovery. It'll help prevent cramps. And also it's good for your skin. You know, who doesn't want soft, nice skin? I don't know how to describe skin, but drink lots of water. I mean, that's just good general life advice. So this one is a little bit more speculative. So there was a span in my training where for 2 weeks, I went completely vegetarian. I was eating vegan protein and cut out meat. And in that period, I was running and working out, and I would recover like in less than a day. Less than a day later, I would be completely recovered and ready to go. And yeah, that might be correlation. Correlation does not equal causation. However, that was my experience, and since then, I've been eating a lot of vegan protein and trying to go more vegetarian and eating properly, and it's helped my recovery a ton. So, hey, if you want to try that and see if it works for you, go ahead and give it a shot. But if you want to eat 5 steaks a week, I'm not going to stop you. Number 23 is something very personal to me, and that is that staying healthy is the hardest part about running. It didn't take very long for me to build that habit and stay consistent. I was going out there. I knew Paige was going out there four times a week to run. Getting out there and running was not the hardest part. Keeping ourselves healthy was. Paige also had a body health problem early on that she had to overcome in her hip. Keeping ourselves healthy and moving forward, what is the hardest part, and what I ultimately failed at, keeping myself healthy. That's almost like the next tier. You have level 1 problems, getting out running, and level 2 problems is like running 4 times a week, building distance, and level 3 problems is staying healthy. So once you've conquered that other stuff, keeping yourself healthy is the final boss. I have not counted how many runs I have done in the past year, but I'd wager it's over 100 and maybe even close to 200. And at the beginning of every single one of them, every single time I went out to run, I felt great. The first 2 minutes, you feel great during a run, but that does not mean you're gonna feel great the entire time. So don't get cocky, kid. Number 25 is to not be that hard on yourself. You're gonna have a run where you didn't do as well as you had hoped, or you're gonna have a week or two where you're gonna eat really poorly and that's gonna affect your runs. The big important part is to not be as hard on yourself more than you celebrate your good runs, right? I'm not gonna say don't hold yourself accountable and don't be critical of your performance. You always wanna get better, but there's a limit. You have to make sure that you're maintaining a healthy self-esteem. You wanna make sure that you're not bullying yourself into doing this. It needs to be a positive thing. This is a lifestyle change that you're looking to make, not just some habit that you wanna do once or twice a week. So go easy on yourself, and again, make sure to celebrate the good times too. And number 26 of the lessons that I want to share with you that I learned throughout my training is that this journey is about you. It's not about anyone else. Running is a very personal adventure. Don't get caught up on what everyone else thinks or will think. They're only there for the big successes or big failures. You post on Instagram, I did the 5K, or I failed the 10K in my experience, but they weren't there for every single run that you did to make it to that point like you were. Only you know how much work you put into this and how many things you've overcome. It's impossible to express that to someone else. So when you have someone shame you or give you a hard time for not doing as well or going back to square one, failing and having to start all over again, fuck them, right? This is your journey. This is about you and your own personal development. So if you fail, keep trying. And if you succeed, keep going. This is about you. No matter how many times you fail, the big successes and those successes are the only things that count. We don't count those failures. We move on from them. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. It's helped me a ton resolve a lot of the things that I've been worrying about this entire year, this training. It's honestly, knowing that I wasn't gonna make the marathon in May was a very hard thing to deal with and think about all the way up until today when I was supposed to be running the marathon in Detroit. Moving on from today, going forward, me and Paige are gonna not quit. We're not gonna quit. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna start our training over again, and we're gonna be stronger this time. We've already done this once. So the second time, it's gonna be that much easier, right? At least that's the idea. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions for me about my journey, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. And if for some reason you feel like berating me and saying that I'm weak or I don't have a strong will enough to run a marathon, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to talk with you about that. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to see more of my face, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And well, I'll see you in the next one.